Tincture here today. We're going to talk about prickly lettuce, which is Lactuca serriola. And this particular one grows all over the United States and Canada, all over, well, it was brought from Europe. So it grows in a lot of places across the planet and has been used medicinally for many generations. And from this, my mother made tinctures when I was a kid to help with tummy problems. And also, a salve can be made from it to help with certain types of conditions of the skin. So today, I'm going to be making both. These are some specimens that I have here that are rather large, but I have patches off in the woods, where in the meadows, where these really do fantastic as well. So I'm actually going to go back there to do some of the harvesting. I will leave these to go to seed this year. These are biennial and they will bloom and make seeds this year. So I'm going to leave them be. But I also want to show you some plants that this can be confused with, or at least one in particular. Uh, these are the leaves that I've cut so far, and what I'll be doing is taking these inside and juicing them in just a moment. Now, this plant that I'm showing you here is sow thistle. See how the leaf is connected to the stem? Also notice along each of the leaves these little prickles. Okay, again, this is sow thistle. We will not be using this today. It is a medicinal plant, but not one we're using today. Now we're going to look at the prickly lettuce. You'll notice it does not have the prickles along the stems, but underneath. And that's the one we're going to be working with today. So let's get started. So here I've just pulled the leaves off the stems. For this particular mixture, I'm only using the leaves and some of the smaller stems, but not the larger ones. Those are for something else. And yeah, this is really easy to do. It's something that I love to do. It's something that I learned from my mother and she learned from her mother. And while I can't give you advice saying that this will help you medically, you can certainly read up on it. In the description, I'm actually going to put the links to the National Institute of Health, who actually explains tests that have been done and proof that this does help with certain gastrointestinal problems. And I use it for just common little maladies that we get with our tummy sometimes. And so let's get to working on this. So to these leaves, I've added about a cup of Everclear alcohol, 190 proof grain alcohol. And that is to help release the constituents of the prickly lettuce into the alcohol to create the tincture that I'm working on. And in laboratories, oftentimes they'll use methanol. But in our case, we're using off-the-shelf alcohol. And it has to be grain alcohol, the same kind that people drink, so that it's safe for you to ingest. And you can see it's done, at least this part. And by running it through the processor here, we've broken down the cell walls so that all the goodness can be released from the leaves into the alcohol. And now I'm just going to be straining it. And I apologize if the video looks a little weird right here during this part. I had accidentally changed the aspect so it looks a little compressed there, but it'll be fine in just a moment. And what I do here is just let it drain and then squeeze out the rest of all that goodness into the bag, or from the bag, excuse me, into the jar. And rather than use a big crock pot, because I'm just making this small bit here, I'm going to be using a rice cooker. I love using this because, first of all, it's compact, it's easy to use, but also it keeps a very consistent temperature. It's well insulated, so it keeps it warm over a long period of time without cooking it or overheating it. And I'm just going to let this sit for a few hours while it reduces. Then I'm going to add a bit more of the Everclear, about a cup, and then just reduce it down for about another 2 hours. And that's all there is to it. So I will be bottling up about 16, 17 bottles of this, and then with the rest of it, I'm going to be making some salve. And I won't spend a lot of time on the bottling part here because, well, quite frankly, it's not very interesting. It's me simply filling each of the bottles and capping them with the dropper. So I'll go ahead and get moving forward here and we'll start working on the salve. So this is actually the Manuka base that I made recently for the balm. And I'm using that to infuse the wild lettuce into to create this salve. Pretty exciting, huh? Very simple. I'm not adding any additional fragrances or coloring to this. What's nice though is the lettuce lightens this to a real nice golden hue. And once it cools down, it's actually almost white. Now, why would I make this into a salve? While I can't tell you that this works, a lot of people believe it does, including my mother and my grandmother. And this is both with wild lettuce and prickly lettuce. In both cases, people report that it works great as a topical painkiller. I cannot confirm this. I don't have pain, so I really haven't had a need for this. When I broke my foot, I used comfrey and other things, and I did fine. But I can't speak to the effectiveness of this. But I will put links in the description of other folks who claim that it does do these things. So I'm making it available to you. So if you know that it works and you just don't want to make it, you can get it from me. I'm happy to make it for you. But I'm just saying I can't guarantee its effectiveness. It's a great salve. It certainly is moisturizing and it has the comfrey in it and the Manuka honey. So it does have some great properties to it that make it a luscious, wonderful salve. But I'm just saying, as far as the prickly lettuce, I can't guarantee that it offers any pain relief because I just don't know. But what I do is I continue stirring this and pouring it, stirring it and pouring it. And anytime you use honey or other things, you want to keep it stirred to make sure you get an even distribution throughout each of your containers. I again want to thank you all. It means so much to me that you comment and that you're here. And I have just a ball doing this. Now, some good news on the work front. My job will return in September, so that means I only have to go on unemployment for 4 months. And I am going to continue to look for some part-time work to kind of make up, if possible, for some of the loss. But things aren't as horrible as they could have been. So I just wanted to share that with you all. Thank you so very much, everyone. We're almost at 1,250 subscriptions. I'm just amazed. That means another drawing. So I'm working on something now. So look forward to that video coming up soon, everyone. Have a great day. Goodbye.